You almost just have to laugh at a day like today because what in the F is going on? Tesla's stock is down about 4% today. We have all of your breaking news that you need to know, and trust me, you do not want to miss it because things are shaking up in a big way over at Tesla. According to an internal memo, Elon Musk has announced Tesla is going to lay off over 10% of their workforce. This is like the only company in 2024 that has announced a layoff and not went up on that news. I think that's just a head scratcher in and of itself. We'll talk about potentially why Tesla's stock is down today here later on throughout this video, but let's actually share the memo itself. Elon Musk writes, "Over the years, we have grown rapidly with multiple factories scaling around the globe. With this rapid growth, there has been duplication of roles and job functions in certain areas. As we prepare the company for our next phase of growth, it is extremely important to look at every aspect of the company for cost reductions and increasing productivity. As part of this effort, we have done a thorough review of organization and made the difficult decision to reduce our headcount by more than 10% globally. There is nothing I hate more, but it must be done. This will enable us to be lean, innovative, and hungry for the next growth phase cycle. I would like to thank everyone who is departing Tesla for their hard work over the years. I'm deeply grateful for your many contributions to our mission, and we wish you well in your future opportunities. It is very difficult to say goodbye. For those remaining, I would like to thank you in advance for the difficult job that remains ahead. We are developing some of the most revolutionary technologies in auto, energy, and artificial intelligence. As we prepare the company for the next phase of growth, your resolve will make a huge difference in getting us there. Thanks, signed, Elon." Now, there is a couple different points I want to make here, specifically regarding this large round of layoffs that Tesla is doing. There is the positive, in which Tesla should become more profitable as they have a smaller workforce. The slight drawback is the next quarter or two, you're probably going to see a lot of severance payments going out, and that could hurt Tesla's near-term profitability. But longer term, let's say 3 quarters, 4 quarters from now, it's going to start being a net positive for Tesla's profitability. That's a positive for the stock. The stock was selling off today on this news because of really a couple different reasons. But number one, if Tesla is laying off over 10% of their staff, well, maybe that means the business is not doing well. I think this is a little bit different than some other companies like an Apple, like a Microsoft, or a Google that have been laying off employees. By the way, much smaller amounts than 10% of the workforce in many cases. I know Google was like roughly 10 to 15%, but the Wall Street just said, hey, those companies are doing great. They just want to boost profitability by getting rid of some people. In Tesla's case, where there's all of this fear, people are like, is Tesla really laying people off to become more profitable, or are they doing poorly? Considering Tesla has not done any layoffs yet, I think this was long overdue and probably should have happened a long time ago. So I actually think this is positive fundamentally for Tesla. I'm a little bit more concerned about the high-level executives that are leaving Tesla. There's 2 of them today. I can't recall 2 executives leaving on any one single day ever before. First up is Drew Baglino. He was the SVP of Powertrain and Energy at Tesla. He writes on X, "I made the difficult decision to move on from Tesla after 18 years yesterday. I am so thankful to have worked with and learned from the countless incredibly talented people at Tesla over the years." Next up is Rowan Patel. He says on X, "The past 8 years at Tesla have been filled with every emotion, but the feeling I have today is utmost gratitude. To our unbelievable customers and fans, I'm inspired by your passion and impact on Tesla and the mission. To Elon Musk for giving me the chance and empowering me to lead big initiatives at the company." These 2 high-ranking Tesla executives, them leaving, that's a little more concerning to me. Why are 2 of them leaving in a single day? Now, is this going to make or break Tesla? Absolutely not. Of course, you know that, I know that. But I think this makes things a whole lot weirder heading into Tesla earnings on April 23rd. And it's kind of sad to see these individuals go. They were doing a lot recently on X, keeping us informed and really just bettering the Tesla brand overall. And I hope there's a very logical reason for this, that they're leaving. Hopefully it's not, some kind of internal issue that was happening and we just don't know that. I actually think that's a bigger drag on Tesla's stock today than the 10% layoff news. Elon Musk responded to Drew Baglino's post on X. He says, "Thanks for everything you've done for Tesla. Few have contributed as much as you." Scott over here on X comments to Elon. He says, "Elon, are we waiting for earnings to understand things better, or could you maybe give us an idea? A lot of fear hitting right now, which is probably unfounded." And I would agree with that. A lot of the fear is probably unfounded. Uncertainty is the biggest fear out there on Wall Street. It's just very uncertain. Why Tesla's doing a 10% round of layoffs, 10% of their workforce, that's a lot of people. Also, why are top executives leaving today? Are they getting laid off? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But why are they leaving? I expect we will get some clarity on the company earnings call, if not before then. So stay tuned to the channel for any updates that we get from Musk. As you can see, the NASDAQ opened up strong, up almost 1%. You really seen a gap up in pre-market. And now you're down almost a half of 1% following more Middle East drama. Farzad here on X, he shares his general thoughts on the departures of Baglino and Rowan Patel, and basically goes on to say that Tesla is trying to right-size the business and to become a leaner company, and I would agree with that overall. He says, "Will be interesting to see how Tesla frames this in their quarterly earnings call next week. My guess is most media will frame this as negative, but I wouldn't be sure given the track record of the company. We shall see." And it's interesting because Elon Musk commented on this post. He says, "About every 5 years, we need to reorganize and streamline the company for the next phase of growth." You do have Tesla stock down about 4% on all of this news, but as you can also see, Tesla stock gapped up in pre-market trading today. You were up over or just about 1%. As you started the trading day here on the NASDAQ, now you're down about a half of 1%, following more drama out of the Middle East. And I don't think this situation is even close to being over with. The main reason why the markets are selling off like this is a couple different reports, one of which from the Wall Street Journal that says Israel's attack on Iran can start as early as today. And this headline says the US and others assesses that Israel is set to respond to Iran, maybe even today. As I have said many times here on this channel, the markets can handle bad news. They can't handle uncertainty. And this looks like a lot of uncertainty that's probably going to get worse from here. If, Israel attacks Iran, who knows what Iran does if they attack back, it could come to be a huge mess. And then we did see China's foreign minister Wang Yi and Iran's foreign minister hold a phone call. Minutes after that phone call started, here's a headline that came out. China's Wang vows to boost cooperation with Iran. So that's obviously not a good sounding headline. As I said in the last video, I expect Tesla will trend back down to about 160. I expect a lot of support in that area, but really this Middle East situation is unprecedented. Who knows what's going to happen? I think earnings are also with high expectations, right? You're going to be disappointed this earnings season. Question is, do companies outright miss earnings? Is it bad guidance? How does the disappointment come? And if the disappointment is bad and then really you get bad guidance from some of your big tech names, some of your AI stocks, that could lead to a little bit more downside. But I still do think Tesla's earnings on April 23rd is going to be a positive catalyst, but I could be wrong. There's a little bit of good news on the day today if you don't think layoffs are good news like I do. And again, I just want to be very clear. Tesla laying off employees, it morally sucks. You wish it didn't have to happen. But the bottom line is, longer term, Tesla laying off employees, right-sizing the business is a boost to profitability. That's the bottom line. And that's positive if you are an investor in Tesla stock. Again, Drew Baglino and Rohan Patel leaving Tesla on the same day is pretty problematic, and I want more clarity on that. That's what I'm kind of negative on. That's what makes me really, say what's going on here. But the layoffs themselves, 10%, that probably should have happened a long time ago, just to provide a little bit of, final words on that. But here's some good news today. Tesla is reportedly looking at a potential showroom located in New Delhi and Mumbai ahead of plans to begin sales in India later this year. It wants to begin with a showroom of 3,000 to 5,000 square feet. And here you can see Tesla Japan's X account post the Cybertruck over in Japan. And let me tell you right now, the Cybertruck is a head turner wherever it goes. This is actually a meme that I seen on Facebook last night. This is a screenshot from myself that was posted in the trading community here. I just blew it up, saved the image, blew it up so you guys can see it a little bit better. But this is like the 4th or 5th one that I've seen. And all of them have a lot of reactions, a lot of shares. You're definitely starting to see the Cybertruck penetrate social media and become more relevant in people's minds. This meme specifically says everyone in 2045 and then me, right? A lot of these memes are kind of making fun of the Cybertruck. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but that's actually good, right? Just to get the word of mouth out there about the Cybertruck is what you want to see happen. Some of the memes have been super funny though. One of them, I wish I could pull it up, but I didn't save it. The guy was behind the Cybertruck, took a picture of it and said, "I just got cut off by a refrigerator." That one was actually hilarious. Tesla has lowered its inventory discounts for the Model Y in the US by up to thousands of dollars. As a result, the Model Y inventory prices for all trims in the US are now up to 7.8% more expensive. So this was actually, to some degree, raising prices. NVIDIA's senior lead of robotics on Tesla's FSD supervised. He says the human-like maneuvers with no interventions delivered a magical experience. He goes on to say, excited to witness the recipe of scaling law and data flywheel for full autonomy shows signs of life in real products. The future of end-to-end robot learning is bright. And look at that, Tesla set up a Cybertruck outside of one of their showrooms in Boston, and, well, there's a pretty large crowd here surrounding it, taking pictures, and, people make fun of it all they want, but when it actually comes down to it, people are pretty starstruck when they see the vehicle itself. On that note, it's worth mentioning the Cybertruck is the most searched about Tesla product as of right now. On Google Trends, the Cybertruck is coming in at 59. The thing is just exploding higher, and I think this is probably the early start of the Cybertruck halo effect. Now, the Model Y recently went from 32, still at 32. The Model 3 went from 24 to 23. The Model S went from 11 to 12, and the Model X is still at 9. It hasn't moved as well, but definitely seeing a lot of search trend interest in the Cybertruck. Global inventory numbers are showing a downtick from about 9,700 Model Ys in inventory globally down to just under 9,000. So that is a drop of about 700 just in the past 24 hours or so. The Model 3, Model X, Model S, they're not doing much of anything. The Model 3 has recently took another leg higher, and honestly, you want to see the Model 3 a lot higher than where it is now because there's a lot of orders just waiting to be filled for the Model 3, specifically in the US. And it's really been more of a supply problem than a demand problem, at least in the US. Here on the day today, Tesla continues to run 4,000 different ads with Google. Full self-driving Google Trends data recently hit 100 after Tesla announced the free FSD trial for all Tesla vehicles, and it fell back to 57. Now it's sitting at 59. This is a lot higher, honestly, than where I expected the search trend activity was going to level out at, right? I was expecting maybe in the 30s and the 40s, but not in the high 50s. And that's what is more important. Obviously, we were going to shoot up to 100 for, Google Trends activity for FSD as the free trial went out. But if this thing stays higher in the 50s, like where we're currently seeing, that's a pretty good sign people are continuing to talk about, search about, look into full self-driving, which likely means higher adoption rates than at least I was even expecting. Now, this is actually surprising. Tesla stock's currently down about 4%, but take a look at the sentiment here on StockTwits. It seems like retail investors, they're not really any more bearish than they were yesterday. I guess slightly. You have a neutral score today at 46. Yesterday, you were neutral at 52. So yes, sentiment is down a little bit today, but not like you would expect. Message volume today is considered normal at 50. 1 day ago, it was low at 37. And the participation ratio today is sitting at 55, which is right at about where we have been recently. Option activity from big money today. These are hedge funds, institutions, money managers, making trades in Tesla stock today. You have seen 557 orders totaling $121.45 million with a positive order value of 36%. So quite negative today, which again, that's not a huge surprise. The stock is down 4%. What's actually surprising is it does not look like there is a lot of shorting activity today. You can see borrowed shares at about 412,000, return shares of 488,000. So it actually looks like on this drop, you're seeing some shorts actually returning shares. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean shorts covered on short positions. There's 30.36 million shares out on loan. And if those shares that are out on loan that have not been sold short yet get returned back without ever being sold short, that counts as return shares as well. So it's hard to say if, some shorts did, cover or just return shares. Overall, it looks like about 76,000 net shares have been returned so far on the day today. And you do have cost to borrow fees sitting at about 1.47%, which suggests not a lot of shorting activity is taking place today. You do have short interest at 3.89%. $18.43 billion currently in short positions with 107.74 million shares that are currently sold short. Based on this, shorts are taking home a gain of over $650 million today. As I've said before, though, I think the shorts are biting off more than they can chew, and maybe this 10% layoff news is actually good news. But we'll probably need to see what Tesla and Elon say on the earnings call. Again, is Tesla laying off 10% of their staff to become more profitable, or because their business is slowing down? If the business is slowing down and they lay off 10% of their staff, but the business slows down maybe more than we expect, you could just net even on total profitability. If the business, does 1.8, 1.9 million deliveries, around where Wall Street is currently expecting, but Tesla lays off 10% of their staff, that would mean you become net more profitable. If you do like 1.6 million deliveries, 1.5 million deliveries in 2024, and you lay off 10% of your staff, you're probably not going to be more profitable, or at least the total amount of profits is probably not going to move any higher. So it's either a sign of great weakness in the business, or it's a sign that the Tesla management wants to become more profitable. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Holy moly, talk about a rug pulling. That you're now seeing the NASDAQ down about 1% here on the day following this news. Jokerman Intel shares this on X. Says rapid fire alerts from Al Jazeera, citing conversations with American and Israeli officials. Israel may resort to striking targets deep inside Iran in response to the attack by Iran and its proxies. Israel's possible response does not aim to escalate, but rather to make Iran understand Israel's ability to reach anywhere inside Iran. An American official says we have not yet been informed of a final Israeli position or a date for the possible strike. And another Israeli official says a response to the Iranian attack may be imminent, and any response will be coordinated with Washington. Israel pledged to inform Washington before any offensive action in Iran. This is the part that is really causing markets to sell off, this imminent language. And yeah, there goes the markets even more. One of the biggest stories on the day today as well is 10-year treasury yields. They are breaking out big time. 10-year treasury yields are up almost 13 basis points today. That is half of a rate hike. That's kind of insane for one single day. Normally, you should not see this happen. Now, mainly why this is happening, if you actually take a look at TLT and you look at the chart here for this, you will see, I guess I don't have it pulled up anymore, but I'll pull it up. TLT is selling off big time. That is wildly negative for your risk assets, negative for equities. When you start to get close to 5% on TLT, or TLT treasuries, TLT is the ETF to the 20-year treasury. It also incorporates the 10 and 30-year treasury, really long duration treasuries. Then it starts to make a lot more sense to put money into bonds instead of stocks. If you can get almost a 5% risk-free return for 10 years, yeah, why bother with stocks? What's pretty interesting though is here on the day today, if you take a look at oil is actually down about 1%, which I'm sure this conflict, if it does escalate from here, which markets are just tanking on this latest news, then I'm sure oil does start to rally, and that's, well, negative for the economy. And it's starting to rally at least a little bit here as the markets are falling. That's bad for the economy. That's bad for inflation, bad for the Fed, bad for just everything. But in a weird way, it could be positive for Tesla if the price of gas does go much higher at gas pumps. That could lead more people to look at Tesla as, you know, a possible candidate for their next vehicle. Gene Munster says some context on the Tesla 10% layoffs. Number one, the business has slowed and it does make sense to adjust headcount for 2024. I expect deliveries will be down about 3% this year. I believe the street is looking for about 5% growth in deliveries. Number two, Elon loves efficiency and is likely overcutting to see if the output per person will increase. In other words, I bet they only need to cut 5% in the near term. Number three, it's going to be a year plus before gross margins expand from current 17% levels. I still believe the combination of increasing deliveries in 2025 and beyond, plus FSD, will get gross margins to 30%. 30% gross margins means, let me translate here, you're buying Tesla at a steal of a deal in the 160s. But it's not going to happen overnight, unfortunately. Ugh, and I keep going back to the markets. You're now down 1.5% on the NASDAQ. Elon Musk wrote this 2 minutes ago on X. He says, after taking a well-deserved break, Drew will no doubt go on to do great things. I look forward to following what he does next. Also important context is Tesla does lay off employees every couple of years. In 2017, they laid off 2% of the workforce. In 2018, it was 9% of the workforce. 2019, it was 7%. And 2022, it was 10% of the workforce. And now it's about 10% of the workforce in 2024. Now you have this post from Walter Bloomberg about 10 minutes ago that says Israel reportedly to hit back clearly and forcefully. The Israeli War Cabinet has decided to retaliate clearly and forcefully against the missile and drone attack carried out by Iran on Saturday. The Times of Israel reported on Monday, citing the local broadcaster Channel 12. The report says Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and IDF Chief of Staff Hersey think that Israel should take action in response, but without harming the U.S.-led coalition that played a crucial role in assisting Israel in defending itself against the Iranian attack. Israel intends to convey the message that it will not allow an attack of that magnitude against it to pass without a reaction. The response will be coordinated with the United States, the media added. Now, I don't know what happens next with this situation. It could get much worse. It could be a show of force from Israel that doesn't really do any damage in Iran. Maybe these missiles land in the desert and Iran doesn't feel the need to respond. I don't know. Iran said another mistake, whatever that means, from Israel would, prompt a larger and swifter reaction. I don't know, okay? But what I do know is the markets don't like this. Oil markets are not going to like this. The Strait of Hormuz is vitally important to the global oil supply. And yeah, if there's a continued escalation, I'm sure oil prices go up, inflationary pressures go up, the Fed's job becomes more difficult, and gas prices weigh on economic activity. All of this is not good. So I don't know what happens next, but you definitely want to be watching this closely. Now, what a day for Tesla to announce these layoffs and for 2 of their top executives to leave, because I mean, it's only causing the stock to fall more due to this Middle East situation, which is fully grappling the markets right now, with the Nasdaq now down 1.5%. This is a 2.5% round move from the high of the day today. Kind of crazy. Now, as I said in the last video, I expect Tesla will bottom out around the 160 range, but if things hit the fan, if the shit hits the fan and starts spinning, I don't know where that's going to land. I don't know where Tesla's stock is going to land. So I think you want to be pretty careful assessing what downside could come. Do you want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? Say hi.
Hi.
Say Tesla to the moon.
Tesla to the moon.
But nonetheless, really to wrap up this discussion here, these events are coming together at a really bad time for Tesla. And although I expected a lot of support at 160, if you do see an escalation of these conflicts in the Middle East, if you continue to see bond yields rise, if you start to get earnings that come in negative, this week specifically, you have Netflix and TSMC and ASML, some of your high-flying AI stocks, and other banks. If there's an overall sour mood on earnings and these other things start to play out, I don't know where Tesla's going to go. It could go lower than 160 this week. Or, indeed, this is just a show of force from Israel and no harm, no foul. Iran doesn't respond and crisis averted, and tomorrow could be a big green day. I really don't know, because we don't know what's going to happen. But nonetheless, I will keep you guys updated, especially in the next video coming out at 8 p.m. tonight, of any new developments that you need to know. Nonetheless, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. If you guys want to come join the trading community, get alerted every time I make trades in our markets, earnings season. There's a lot of trading that happens during that season, and over the next couple of months, you're back in earnings season, so come join us. That link is down below in the description of this video. You guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you at 8 p.m. tonight to go over any new developments. Until then, enjoy your day, and I will see you in the next one.